Hey, it's Shay Seeking, and I'm here with part 3 of my mega rant video about this whole 2020 census thing. We're piggybacking off of the 2020 census, Black Americans versus Black immigrants. And the channel is Black Patriarch, and we're just piggybacking off of this video because there's a lot of information packed in one. I hope it's okay to do so, but I was just thinking under the whole fair use thing, I should be able to use this for an educational purpose. I'm trying to educate somebody on something. Okay, so this little part right here, I'm just starting off by saying I don't want anybody to think that I agree with everything that this person says. I think at some point in the video, he's going to say something like, forget all Latinos, but he uses a different word. And, I don't really agree with it on that terms, but I understand where his frustration is coming from. But again, it's not their fault. This is the thing. This nation is divided. They want to keep it divided. They're going to use race. They're going to use all this stuff, okay, to try to divide the people, wealth, religion, education. Everything keeps us at back. Politics. It keeps us battling all the time. So at the end of the day, it should be really the people versus the people in principalities and dark places, or the things. I don't even like to call them people, because I just would never be able to operate on that level. So, and I don't think most real people can. So I can stop ranting and stop getting off subject. I just want to let you know that I can't stand that whole black on black crime thing, because there's really no such thing. There's just, you put people at the bottom, and you create a dysfunctional work ethic and education system and all these things in one community. You're going to get people fighting to feed their family. You're going to get people shooting each other down in the streets like they're not almost family. So in order for you to understand this, you have to see that they don't have to have a KKK anymore. The KKK has hired you, black man or black woman, that's fighting each other in the streets or killing each other on a corner that don't belong to none of you. Okay? So at the end of the day, they have created a system where you're just doing what you're doing to yourself, because you are not aware of who you are and where you are. And I don't care what nobody say. You could fill out all the paperwork you want. You could do all the prayer you want. You can go to school and do as many hours in the African American history studies. You can do whatever you want. If you do not go within, pull yourself out, and then bring other brothers and sisters with you, including your children, or at least install this stuff in your children, you are doing nothing to help. We are going to be in the same situation in the 60s they were in, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and now we hear with people is getting shot down on national television in front of the world. And because you angry, or you don't know how to process this, or you in fear, and so we retreat. And we keep doing this, or we march, or we think we can write a letter to Congress or whatever. Think again. Think again. And I'm really getting on that level where it has to be a separation, but I think that people are thinking a physical separation is due. I used to listen to Farrakhan sometimes. I don't agree with everything he say, and I don't know what caliber he working on, but like I'm saying, he has some valuable information. Some of these people can't speak out of turn. What will be out of turns is telling you the truth. It will be against the law. They can lose their head if they go ahead and start telling you the truth about things. So some of these people, I think, are trying to tell us the truth in their way, but they cannot go full throttle. They cannot take it on to tell you all the way. When they do, then they may not be here that much longer to tell you anything else. So at the end of the day, you can always take something valuable from any conversation. From your worst enemy, you can take some information from them and something valuable. From these people you feel like is coming in and taking your land and doing these things, you can take something valuable from that. And the thing is that I was just talking to my husband the other day, and I said, why don't drug dealers, what is it that a drug dealer can sell all these drugs, have $30,000 on hand, and they don't take that money and invest it in a business so that they can come out of the game, so they don't end up going to jail, so they can help everybody else out, do something that would be valid or valuable for the community. Why do they go risk going to jail to go get more money when what are you going to do with the money when you end up in jail for years? You know what I'm saying? So why don't we think of it as a come up? Maybe you didn't go to, so then at least all the people you affected and all the lives that might have been lost due to what you were involved in, at least you can try to redeem yourself by doing something positive after. You got the support of the community. There's people that might even fear you. So they might, come to you or buy from you or whatever. You already have like stance in the community. We know how that works, right? So why wouldn't I just never understood why somebody wouldn't take you $5,000 to open up just like a candy shop or something. So I don't know. But anyways, we're in this cycle where this is going on. And so now it looks like black on black crime. So of course, if they bring Latinos and they place them in the same habitat as you, and there's still no jobs, but it is easier for them. They're bilingual. It's easier for them to get jobs because whatever else. And that's exactly, they have some type of funding that they can get when they come here to start businesses and do all these other things. So of course that's what's going to happen. But you can't even get mad at them. They're just doing what they need to do. And you can't get mad. You have to look out, especially when it comes to the danger of somebody like this young lady that we're about to see. A family's livelihood because they're being overrun. That is something that we need to do something about. But you don't blame the component because we're all in their little glass. We're all in the fishbowl. White people slaves these days, they're modern day slaves. They have birth certificates and they're signed up for the same system that you signed up for. The whole thing is we can pick at it, we can pull it apart in different, but the whole thing is we're all slaves. And if they're coming into this continent too, they're slaves as well. So we're all still looking at each other and fighting and bickering amongst each other when you need to be looking elsewhere. Everybody need to be looking elsewhere.
The only reason 14-year-old Cheryl Green was shot and killed last month, police believe, was because she was black. These two suspects in custody are Latino and are facing hate crime charges. Cheryl Green is just the latest victim in an ongoing racial battle between some African Americans and Hispanics in Southern California.
We need to do something about this.
The tension between races isn't new. Over the past several years, it's shown up in gang violence, prison brawls, and high school fights. The root of the problem is much deeper, though, and involves a change in historically black neighborhoods, areas like South Central, Watts, and Compton, where Hispanics are now the majority.
Are they talking about this on Latino radio?
On KJLH, a Los Angeles African-American radio station, the tension between Latinos and blacks is a regular topic.
I don't think it's about some kind of endemic hatred of one another. I think it's about who happens to be at the bottom right now and who is competing for those very increasingly scarce resources.
Cedric Blackman owns a property management company. He says he spent his entire life in Watts.
It used to be like, oh, the Greens used to own that house, or the Walkers used to own that house, and now the Martinezes own that house.
Blackman says the change happened so fast, many African Americans didn't see it coming.
Some of the Mexican people here, we've grown up together and we've got along fine, but they never said, hey, they're coming in big numbers and this thing's going to be all Hispanic in a minute. No one ever said anything. Before you know it.
And the thing is, they're not going to say anything. And they know that you're not going to do anything until now. This is why it's important for us to become one voice. One nation, one voice. We need to be our own nation within a nation, if you get my drift. And you don't even have to remove yourself. You don't have to, like I was saying about Farrakhan, I think I got off track or sidetracked because I do that a lot. And when he would say that we need to separate. We need our own nation. Well, that would just end up us getting rounded up into one area and making us an easy target. Even though we're targets now, it would just make us what would happen if you did break up and go into one nation? I don't know if that's exactly how we need to do it. Maybe we need to just be where we are and do what we need to do, like stop some of these antics that we're doing, stop supporting some of these systems that we support, some of these people that we support, if it's not giving back directly to your community. And I think it is important to start with the communities. Start with the communities. Do something there and then link up with other people in other communities. I don't know how we can get a platform. I don't know what we would have to do. I don't know if I can help somebody, start one, or somebody can help me, or what. Are we willing to barter and trade? Are we willing to do whatever we need to do online until this whole grid, maybe the whole grid could be shut down at some point in time? What is it that we need to do? Do we just need to take our own oath, or we need to sign something in our hearts, like King said toward the end of his life, that we got to go in and sign something in our heart, in our soul. That's the only document that's going to get us up out of this. So when he said that, that's a very powerful quote. And I don't know why we haven't heard of that one in school when we was growing up. That would have changed a lot of people's lives just with that one quote. I mean, you could pull it up on your own, but that's the thing. We don't know no better, and we ain't trying to know no better because we too busy being entertained, and we too busy running up in these churches that ain't giving back. We're too busy giving to things that ain't going to give back to you. And how long are we going to do that? I can't do it no more. I have people I need to be concerned about. I'm getting older in age. This is our time. This is us. This is us. This is an awakening that is going to occur. You cannot stick your head in between your pillow and act like this is not going on. You cannot continue to go to work and serve some of these companies that's not doing nothing for. I mean, we have to pull out. If you have to go to work and you have to provide for your people, then everything else should apply. You should start getting your kids ready not to be having the hottest this and the newest that. You should try to keep your phone for at least 4 years instead of swapping it over every year they come out with a new one. It's things that we can do. It's things that we can do. Another thing King said was something about stop buying this. When he woke up, these are the things that he was spitting. We're supposed to pick up that stuff and run with it. If they ain't going to do nothing for you, or if you don't feel like it's benefiting you or is harming the people, or if they're putting something in the juice and you know about it, stop buying it. Stop buying it. And see, we so scared to go back to basics. We so scared to go back to not having some of these things that you think are good for you and they're not anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just time to realize. It's time to realize. They don't have to tell you. They're not going to tell you. You're just going to have to assimilate and you're going to move. Just like this guy is about to say.
There was the Martinez brothers, the Ramirez shop, the tire. I mean, all this used to be.
You can't be mad.
All black. Now it's all Hispanic. There's anger in the black community.
Yeah,
Anger
and
because
that's
some
what we
African
get angry,
Americans
but we don't
believe
do
they've been
nothing.
steamrolled by an exploding population of Hispanics that works for low wages and helps each other find jobs. And there's a feeling among some in the black community that as Hispanics have gained economic and political power, African Americans have been pushed to the side.
That's their way of telling the truth. Okay, so here we are. The situation started when the Democratic Party passed the Immigration Act of 1965, allowing non-European immigrants to come to the U.S. Okay. What were they trying to do? Was that draining the not the swamp, but was that draining something? Was that watering something down? Was that a flood of people? Were many waters coming into the time? This has been going on since the antediluvian time, before then, and it's still going on now. I was reading a book once. and I'm so mad that I did not get. It's probably somewhere on this computer amongst the thousands and millions of files that I have on here because I'm really not organized when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I was so mad I couldn't find this, and it said something about in 100 years. It was an old antique book, and it said in 100 years the Negro should be wiped out and everybody should be turned into a different race. Is that what's occurring? You could say if the book is real, if that's just something I made up, if the guy was correct when he said it, but or can you just look around yourself right now and see? Don't it make more sense to you once you put yourself in the indigenous form of America, the stuff that's going on around you and that's going on in the past that has been stripping you and riding you by the coattails and just riding on you, the monkey on your back, the thickness in the air that you feel. That when you feel like you can't breathe because you see what's going on, the sickness you get in your stomach once you look around. And now the neighborhood, when your kids go to school, they feel like they is the minority and other people is the majority in the school. And they have to go there, regardless of what neighborhood you live in. It seemed like that's usually what happened. So think about that. Think about how, if you now know that this continent was filled with people of color, look at it now. Is that not one of the scariest damn things you ever thought about? Do it not make you think you need to shake some things up and wake some folks up, including yourself and the people around you? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.